Story 1. Just about any snack food or quick meal has dropped in quality to some degree along with the quantity. Rest in peace, Ritz crackers. They are so brittle now that you can't even dip them into anything. Story 2. I don't know what they did to them, but they ruined Butterfingers. They used to be so good. Now, they are brittle little bars of flavorless, compressed sawdust. Story 3. Clothing in general has faced challenges. Many brands struggled in the past, but it seems that recent events, including the pandemic, supply chain issues, and the rise of ultra-fast fashion, have motivated many brands to worsen in terms of quality and pricing. Story 4. Google is a search engine that is primarily filled with advertisements, and its image search requires the filter before 2022 to yield any non-AI generated results. We stopped using Google Home due to its decreased ability to recognize words and the irrelevant results it was providing. Additionally, it would constantly repeat notifications about the microphone status until we disabled it. Story 5. More of a service than a product, but Amazon is now chaotic. I believe much of it is just drop-shipped items from Shein or AliExpress with an excessive markup. There are also many counterfeit goods available now. I do not trust any food, makeup, hygiene, or safety products from Amazon. Story 6. Basically all fast food in my region is not fast anymore, and most of the time I can barely call it food. Story 7. This whole thread is concerning. I have recently started making all my food at home, and I'm continuing to delve deeper into that. For example, I am making my own condiments and bread. It's strange because modernization peaked in convenience and quality, where the average person probably ate out or bought new clothes much more than their grandparents did. But now, it's so unappealing that I avoid restaurants and try to thrift as much as I can, rarely buying new clothing. It feels like I'm starting to live like people did before things became so convenient and easy to access. I never thought I'd be dismissive of going out to eat, but here I am. Story 8. The Nestle Crunch and Hershey's Crackle are Rice Krispies like gold. They are almost non-existent in these candy bars now. One is named Crunch and the other is named Crackle, but there is no longer Crackle and Crunch. Story 9. Most fancy chocolates and truffles contain palm oil, and I can definitely taste it. Story 10. Packaging. How resealable lids seal and how sturdy cans are. The packaging has become less effective at protecting the product, resulting in an increase in leaks on grocery shelves. Story 11. Fast food has still not recovered from COVID-19. The cost has doubled, the product is almost always worse, and good luck with the service. After 4 years, it's a completely different industry now. Story 12. They ruined Reese's Cups. I can taste the different peanut butter, and it's not as good. I'm not certain if the chocolate is different too, but I wouldn't be surprised. Story 13. Not really a product, but Walgreens has seriously declined. I switched to their pharmacy since it was open 24 hours, but COVID-19 changed that. Now, when my prescriptions are supposed to be refilled, I receive messages from them saying they are delayed with no other information except to call the pharmacy. So, I call and have to argue with an automated system to transfer me to the pharmacy. Then, I sit on hold for 30 minutes to talk to a pharmacist. Whoever picks up has no idea what is wrong and tries to convince me that I don't have any pending prescriptions. I have to argue with them for a bit to actually get them to look into the issue. Usually, it is nothing more than they won't refill it before talking to me. Then they'll say, "Okay, we are filling it now, and it will be ready in 20 minutes. After driving there an hour or two later, it is still not ready. They act like I'm imposing on them for wanting it right then and there. I have to ask why they would say it would be ready in 20 minutes if that wasn't the case. Rinse and repeat. The whole process has turned into such a mess. I dislike it. I'd switch back to my old pharmacy, but they weren't any better. They would regularly run out of my medications because of COVID-19 supply chain issues and act annoyed when I'd expect a solution beyond not having my medications. They would transfer my prescriptions to Walgreens to get filled there. Finally, I was like, just send them all there. I'm done. I feel like all businesses are like this now. Nothing stays open late or 24 hours after COVID-19. Nobody working at these businesses seems to care. They act like you even coming in is some imposition on them. Everything is more expensive. I truly dislike it. It feels like a slow slide into a dystopian society where corporations pay their employees stagnating wages. Inflation drives up prices for everything, quality and service completely deteriorate, and we, as consumers, just receive the middle finger because every business operates like this. These corporations have already killed smaller businesses, so it is just a giant disregard for expecting anything beyond the bare minimum. Story 14. Gillette razor blades for shaving are of poor quality right now. Even when using them for the first time, they can cut your skin, whereas a few years ago, you could use them at least 3 to 4 times before needing to change them. I live in Romania. Story 15. Honestly, almost everything has changed. COVID-19 was a major excuse for corporations to reduce quality and increase prices due to the supply chain issues. Maybe I'm just cynical, but the world feels vastly different. Story 16. Bumblebee solid white albacore. Pre-COVID, the tuna was in thick pieces. Post-COVID, it is now a chewed-up, macerated mess resembling cat food. Story 17. Fresh produce at the grocery store appears tired and unappealing. It often feels like you have to sift through a selection of moldy or rotten items to find anything that looks acceptable. Story 18. I'm trying to eat fewer potato chips and buy saltine crackers. They are not good anymore. They crumble and leave a nasty aftertaste. Plus, they are smaller and thinner. Story 19. Hungry Man fried chicken TV dinners are disappointing. You're lucky if you get actual pieces of chicken with meat on them. I don't know what they are doing in their processing plant because it seems like someone blew up a chicken, then battered, fried, and froze the remnants. I received part of a ribcage without any breast meat. I want an identifiable part of a chicken. The last one I bought was mostly battered and fried scraps of skin, with barely any meat. Why should I buy these when a 2-piece combo from Kentucky Fried Chicken costs the same and I can get recognizable parts of the chicken with actual meat? Do they even have quality control? I wrote a complaint email to them because I am done purchasing TV dinners that don't contain edible chicken. Why is this acceptable? You would be frustrated if you bought that at a dollar store, let alone from a name-brand frozen food company charging a premium without delivering what is advertised. Story 20. My partner insists that cheese crackers are not the same. I'm not sure if I believe her, as I mostly eat them when I'm high. Story 21. Whenever I buy a bag of anything that has new resealable packaging along with a tear here notch, I automatically know that 1. It won't tear evenly and I will have to use scissors, and 2. It's definitely not going to reseal. Story 22. I am an electrician, and the Square D Homeline electrical panels and circuit breakers have declined in quality, which is concerning. Quality control of electrical equipment is very important. Story 23. El Monterey frozen burritos. I used to always keep a bag in my fridge for emergencies or when I didn't feel like cooking. They changed something, and they just don't taste the same anymore. I think it's the tortilla, but I haven't found anything conclusive. All I know is I've been eating them for at least 20 years, and I recently stopped. Story 24. I bought a can of Pringles the other day, and the crisps were so thin and light that I noticed the following. 1. I couldn't scoop anything with them, and I am usually accustomed to using them for my cottage cheese. They completely dissolve in my mouth, like cotton candy. Rating, 2 out of 10, I do not recommend. Story 25. I wonder how much more we are all willing to bear. We cannot afford anything, and what is available is far worse. Story 26. All processed food. These corporations control the entire production process and adjust factors such as weight and cheap ingredients, including thinner or plastic-derived materials, adhesives, fillers, and oils, to reduce costs while confusing the consumer. This harms the consumer but provides financial benefit to the corporations. Story 27. This is a niche topic, but we have countable control logbooks at work to track any controlled medications like Adderall and Ritalin. Before COVID-19, they were beautifully assembled, leather-bound, and could last for years. Since COVID-19, I have to order new ones every 3 to 6 months because the covers and bindings break. Once the binding breaks, we are legally required to start a new book. Unfortunately, There is only one supplier for the type we need. Story 28. Produce at large chains deteriorates quickly. Spinach used to last at least a week, but now it turns into sludge in 3 or 4 days. Due to the boycott, I started shopping at farmers markets, and I assure you, I've had a bunch of spinach in the fridge for nearly 2 weeks, and it's just now beginning to shrivel up. I finished it off for dinner, and it still tasted great. Story 29. I have noticed that it is mostly shrinkflation. Items that were packaged in dozens are now in packs of 10 and are slightly smaller. Candy and soda are major examples. M&Ms used to cost around $8 to $9 for a 64-ounce bag. Now it is $13 for a 60-ounce bag. Ice cream is similar. It seems they are incorporating more air into the mix to maintain volume while charging more for these products. It is quite annoying, but as long as my job continues to provide raises to keep pace with this, I am somewhat okay with it. I know many people experience wage stagnation, which is unfortunate, and I feel for them. Story 30. All delivery pizza has experienced a significant decline in quality. It was never gourmet, but it used to satisfy when I was hungry. Now I am just disappointed whenever I feel the urge to have pizza. Story 31. It seemed that Oreos had changed their filling recipe, and it was not as good anymore. However, I am happy to say that they seem to be back. I had some last week, and they tasted as good as before. Story 32. Google reverse image search allows you to drag a photo and receive results showing similar items for sale. However, its usefulness is questionable. It reflects a trend among business executives who prioritize financial profits over engineering, quality, and fair wages. This behavior is reminiscent of how Boeing has treated former employees who exposed the truth to the public. Story 33. The bacon we buy is thick and unappetizing. Additionally, any convenient meat products come in large chunks, and you pay extra for the fact that they are already chopped. Clothes, socks, bed linen, and towels do not last. I worry about the planet. We are filling it with cheap junk, and even the items that are supposed to be durable seem to need constant replacement. Good quality appears to have disappeared. Story 34. Countless ads claim, everyone is entitled to $5,000, but the government doesn't want you to know about it. Or, here's the secret weight loss pill better than Ozempic that they are trying to sweep under the rug. Story 35. Car parts used to be high quality and made in North America. Now, most are manufactured in China, and companies have quietly eliminated their warranties and customer service departments. Story 36. I cannot get a decent sandwich from Subway or Jimmy John's anymore. However, I have learned to shop for and prepare food that is better than what they offered to begin with. Story 37. Has anyone noticed Kit Kats? I'm not sure if the COVID timeline aligns, but Kit Kats have become just crunchy, flavorless snacks. Story 38. Panda Express chicken pieces consist of approximately 80% breading and 20% chicken. Costco toilet paper lost its softness during the pandemic due to mass production, and it has not returned to its original quality. Story 39. Scott's fertilizer just applied weed and feed to my lawn. I had an old bag that weighed 15.3 pounds, while the new one weighed 13.7 pounds. The price did not decrease. Story 40. Not a product, but customer service. It was easier to connect with an actual person for customer support. Now, you have to go through multiple automated options, making it difficult to reach someone. Story 41. Not a specific brand, but I've noticed that packaging quality in general has dropped. Perforations on packages are often messed up. I have a theory that we lost many of those workers during COVID-19, and they were never replaced. Story 42. Please change the question to an easier one to answer. What brand name products have you noticed have not dramatically dropped in quality since COVID? Story 43. Kroger cheese singles turn into a gooey consistency at room temperature. When used in a turkey sandwich, it feels like you're eating turkey topped with cold liquid nacho cheese. The texture and taste are unappealing, so I am now spending almost twice as much on higher quality cheese. Story 44. Enshittification is a virus that has spread to almost everything. The good news is that I don't consume as much unhealthy food as I used to. I now eat more whole foods and homemade snacks. However, I still have an ice cream addiction, and if they come for that, I will probably have to launch a protest. Story 45. I noticed that Hershey's chocolate has lost some of its richness since the COVID-19 pandemic, with the texture being grainier and the flavor being less satisfying. Story 46. Taco Bell. It is no longer worth the price. Burritos that used to be $1 are now over $3, and the quality has not improved. The food has always been low quality, but it was justifiable when prices were lower. The price difference between Taco Bell and a legitimate Mexican or Tex-Mex restaurant is minimal now. I would prefer to dine at a sit-down restaurant that offers nuanced flavors rather than a mixture of questionable meat, cheese, and rice in a soggy tortilla. Story 47. McCormick has remained largely unchanged, with no shrinkflation, and they have introduced a variety of new products. It's quite challenging to compromise on the quality of spices. Story 48. Cars have become unattractive, overpriced, and overly complex items that are difficult to repair and barely fulfill their intended purpose. Story 49. As someone who works in manufacturing and relies on subcontractors, I question major purchases from large companies made after 2020. Story 50. Birkenstocks used to last for years. Now, they last maybe 1 year if you only wear them rarely. Story 51. Ortega taco shells are thin and break easily. I even contacted the company, and they sent me coupons for free shells, but I don't plan to use them. I am not satisfied with the product. Story 52. Tide is now unusable, having replaced what was a pleasant, non-offensive scent with a sickening cheap fragrance. This change has ruined what was the best detergent. Some executives saved the company a few $1,000,000 with a downgrade and received a bonus for short-term profit. Story 53. The comments on this particular post are some of the best I've seen in a while. It is a legitimate conversation without typical Reddit groupthink negativity. Story 54. Not a significant drop in quality, but the price increase for no clear reason prompted me to start making my own Mountain Dew syrup at home. We already had a soda maker, so I just mix it in. I also found caffeine online, so if I want to add it, I can control the amount based on how I'm feeling at the moment. This has resulted in a substantial improvement in my quality of life. Story 55. What happened to Fruit Gushers? They changed the branding on the bags, but these bags are now extremely small. Rice Krispie treats and Pop-Tarts also have nearly translucent icing and are very thin. Story 56. Hui Fong Sriracha has been completely destroyed. It is not related to COVID. The company had a dispute with its jalapeno supplier, who is now bottling his own sauce. The old green-topped Rooster bottle lacks spiciness and pepper flavor, while the new dragon sauce is good but does not have the sugar, garlic, and vinegar ratio quite right. Story 57. You cannot read news without subscriptions anymore. If you click on an article, you encounter a paywall. If you back out and click on the next article, there's another paywall. It is no wonder there is a lack of trust in the media. It has become pay-to-play. I cannot afford 4 to 5 subscriptions. I just want access to news. Story 58. I buy Dumeyer brand scratch grains from Tractor Supply for my backyard chickens. It is a mix of several different kinds of seeds and grains. There is one kind included that I know is essentially a filler, with low nutrient value and disliked by the hens. I do not remember what it is called, but they have significantly increased the content of that one seed, because the birds are leaving them on the ground, and they have started to accumulate over the past several weeks. Story 59. Lay's potato chips. They are all burnt now, not normal browning from overcooking, but black, incredibly hard, tooth-chipping regions on every bag. It is extremely rare to find a bag without most of them being affected by this. It's unbelievable. I noticed the change around August 2020. Story 60. I genuinely wonder how much of this is private equity. It seems to exploit everything it involves. I am unsure of our approach, but we need to take decisive economic action against this issue. Story 61. Everything seems smaller these days. Cookies, vegetables, bread. and chicken all look unappetizing and stale. Cereal boxes may be larger, but they contain less inside. Almost every box or bag feels empty. Fast food chains have also declined in quality. I no longer eat there. It's simply unappetizing. Story 62 posted in a local subreddit last week that the UPS customer service center at the local hub is now open from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Monday to Friday, 2 hours a day, at the very beginning of everyone's workday. If a package was held due to a missed delivery or due to high value and signature requirements, this is the only place in a city of 1 million people to pick it up. If they don't just forge the signature and leave it on your porch to be stolen, which is what usually happens. Story 63. Additionally, anything chocolate. It no longer tastes like chocolate, or it has so little chocolate that it has less chocolate flavor than inexpensive Easter candies. It is no longer worth it. Story 64. Cetaphil changed its fundamental ingredients, and its products are not the same. I have switched to CeraVe after probably 30 years of exclusive use of Cetaphil. Story 65. Whole Foods Hot Bar. There are some store locations that are exceptions, but generally for most locations it is not what it used to be. Story 66. Q-tips are weak and ineffective now. They bend and fall apart immediately. I guess Unilever was concerned that they might make $19.99 billion instead of $20 billion, so they switched to subpar materials. Story 67. The zippers used on bags of frozen foods, such as chicken nuggets and fries, are of much lower quality. They are difficult to zip and do not stay closed. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.